Hello, everybody, and welcome to your first draft recap show of 2011. He's James, the non-thrusting Moynihan, and I'm Ross Berge. We're going to do a quick draft recap and then look forward to Week 1 of the NFL season.
Very exciting stuff. What a weekend it was down at Bailey's for the draft. It started off with Bergie-licious on the first pick. He goes with Adrian Peterson, no surprise to anyone. Follows that up with Miles Austin, and then the shocker, taking Peyton Manning in the second round. What a reach.
Yes, sir.
For an injured quarterback.
Well, I look at it this way. I mean, it was obviously a reach at that point, but quarterbacks were going quick, and I feel like it'll be the same old Manning after Week 1.
Number 2,
Albert Marzoyan, a.k.a. Rex Ryan's Pedophiles. He went with Chris Johnson, Matt Forte, and Reggie Wayne as his nucleus. I like his team, but I don't love it. We'll see how it plays out.
Next up is Jake's Too Big to Fail squad. Jake starts off with Arian Foster at the number 3, passing on both Ray Rice and former Too Big to Fail member Jamal Charles. Not a huge fan of his next pick, a white running back in Peyton Hillis at 26 to round out his first 2.
All right, next up we had Snoots, Kim Kardashian's lack of bush. He picked Ray Rice, followed by Vincent Jackson, and in the third round reached for Matt Schaub. A surprise to everybody, but again, quarterbacks were flying off the board.
Absolutely. At number 5, B-Mac has possibly the easiest pick in the first round as he jumps on Jamal Charles, who slides all the way to B-Mac at 5. He has Hakeem Nicks then fall to him in the second round, making really his first 2 picks pretty simple. Hoping for a lot of upside on some unproven guys in Javid Best as well as Reggie Bush. We'll see about that.
Yep, next up we had John Hart, Fat Albert's fan club, picking 2 picks in the first round, MJD, followed by Drew Brees, who was picked before Aaron Rodgers. We'll have to see how that plays out. Then he had Dallas Clark, Steve Johnson, and Nate Kading in the 10th round.
Second year in a row, Nate Kading has jumped up to the 10th round. Shocking, to say the least. At number 7, the Flying Hawaiians got what they wanted. They traded down from 3 to 7, and they picked up their target. Michael Vick falls to 7. He follows that up with Greg Jennings, Antonio Gates, and Ahmad Bradshaw to create really a pretty formidable group.
Decent. Next we had Jed, the corporate Fat Cats, picking LaShawn McCoy, Phillip Rivers, Des Bryant, a little early there, and Sean Green, who I think will be a good pick for him.
We'll have to see about that. That's what we thought last year when he was picked in the first round. At number 9, the newcomer, Brendan Kavanaugh, the doctor, takes the first wide receiver of the first round, and as he picks up Andre Johnson. Brendo goes wide receiver heavy as he follows that up with Larry Fitzgerald. He's really, the possibility of having Fitzgerald and Johnson is great, but could be looking to create a trade later on in the season for some running backs.
Ooh, all right. Next up was Thompson Takeover at 11th. He picked Aaron Rodgers, followed by Frank Gore, Mike Williams, and then a reach in the 4th round for Fred Jackson. I didn't think that was a very good pick, but
very strange pick there. Very strange. Next up, we go with Andy Lynch. With 3 quarterbacks taken in the first 11 picks, Rashard Mendenhall falls all the way to 12.
Wow.
He follows that up with 2 wide receivers, and Andy then hopes that rookie running back Mark Ingram can be a number 2 back. Interestingly enough, right now, Andy does not have Mark Ingram in his starting lineup
on the bench,
as Cedric Benson has been released from prison and will compete this week in Week 1.
Yep, very interesting.
Technical difficulties.
Next up was Grimsley Bears with the 13th pick. He took Roddy White, followed by Blount and Mike Wallace. I actually like his pick with LeGarrette Blount. I think he'll be good this year. So.
Yeah, very excellent picks. I like Grim Squad a lot there.
I do too.
Back-to-back picks for Chuck to round out the first round and head into the second round, 14 and 15. Chuck ends the first round with the great Tom Brady, the greatest player in the NFL, and follows that up with a great pick at 15 of Michael Turner. I was hoping he would fall to 16, but very solid 1-2. Chuck follows that up with the Denver duo, to say the very least, as he takes both Knowshon Moreno and Brandon
Lloyd. Yep. And the only team that did not have a pick in the first round was Jamie's A-Town Rat Tails, picking Darren McFadden, Steven Jackson, and Dwayne Bowe as his first 3 picks. I like his squad, but I can't give you too much credit. So we'll see how that goes.
Why is that?
Because I don't want to.
Okay, well, Ross, I want to know, who do you think is really the favorite in your mind after the draft?
Well, I think other than myself, I think Bimsy Bears will be a formidable squad. He scares me a little bit.
Sure.
I like Roddy White, and like I said, LeGarrette Blount is a great pick. So I'm a little scared of Bimsy Bears.
Yeah, I think it goes back to all the favorites. Obviously, I stand to probably win this thing, as tradition will show. Really like Rag's squad. Takes a big gamble, a couple big gambles. He's got obviously the #1 quarterback, and then obviously the #1 tight end. So hoping to win in those two spots. We'll see from there. Definitely like Chuck's team, ironically enough. I have created somewhat of an enemy in Chuck over the last year or so, but I actually like his squad. I'll probably trade for all his good players.
Yep, makes sense.
So that actually brings it to the first ever Week 1 marquee matchup. It's right there. It fell.
And that is Albert Mirzoyan facing his frenemy, Andy Lynch.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else we could have gone on this one other than Andy versus Al. Not only did they tie once last year, they tied twice last yeyear. They go into it this year with the prediction on ESPN being 100-99. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think Albert takes this one. I know, like you said, it's a 1-point favorite, but I think Al has a better squad than Andy, especially with Mark Ingram on his bench. You can't waste that early of a pick and sit him. Yeah,
I think it's tough to have a 4th-round draft pick sitting on your bench going into Week 1. So I think Albert takes this one, starts off 1-0. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw the first tie of the season.
All right, fellas, that'll do it. Good luck. Send in your payments if you haven't already.
Here we go.
You know who I'm talking to?
Get ready for a rowdy season.
Let's do it.
Good night, and God bless.
Later.